Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Oh my days, it has been a while. It has been a long while. Where do I even begin? Okay, let me put the links out on socials before we get started. Thank you for the 11 of you guys who are already here. Please do drop a like if you are watching the stream. Let me just make sure I've posted a story on Instagram. Yep, all right. Story is out. All right. I think we're good to go. Just a couple last checks. You can tell that I'm rusty because I pretty much don't have anything ready for the stream. But we'll get there. We'll get there. Getting back into the groove. Okay. Let's begin with the Game Week 14 deadline stream. Thank you all of you guys for coming early. Yes, it has been so long, Nicholas. I know. Good to see all of you guys, by the way. 00 slap in the chat as well. Nice to see you. Njai to Dewsbury Hall so I can upgrade Krupi Jr. to Tiago. Yeah, I don't mind it. Especially with Njai going to the African Cup of Nations. I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I had a really good break. So I am recharged. Unfortunately, I reached back a little bit late, sometime on Sunday, and I've kind of been catching up on some work. So basically, don't have a lot of time. And content this week for Game Week 14 just came too quick, simply because it's the midweek deadline, right? But it's a good thing that it's a midweek deadline because I triple captain in Game Week 13. I think I should give a bit of a rundown as well. Okay, so I'll start with my team first for Game Week 13. Mohammed in the chat says, "Did you enjoy your break/holiday?" I really did. I'll speak more about it in a bit. Thanks for asking, by the way. But let me start off with last game week's team. So this is game week 13. My score was nothing too impressive at all. It's 46 points, and I know I'm sure there's lots of really good scores because many of you guys hit the free hit button. I was on the end of a triple captain that did not work out. I think I posted this on the Instagram broadcast channel as well, that basically I felt like at the end of the day, yes, it didn't work out, but FPL is just like that. There will be the element of luck involved, and sometimes you're on the end of some lack of luck, I would say, right? So or being unlucky, right? So Haaland had quite a few chances in the game. I watched the replays back as well. The truth of the matter is that City didn't play as well against Leeds as we expected them to, but it is what it is. And Haaland 6 points after being triple captain, so pretty much no returns. My vice captain was Thiago, so 13 points for Thiago, but everyone had him on a free hit. I think overall, when you look at my team as well, nothing much to shout about, right? Mateta with a 6-pointer, Saka 5, Virgil van Dijk 6. A lot of the people that free hitters brought in, like Gakpo, Foden, all did really well. So I mean, it's just one of those weeks, right? We just got to take it on the chin and kind of move on. And it's great that it's a midweek deadline because even though I didn't have time to put out content, the good thing is that the new week is upon us already, right? And hopefully we continue to move up from there. I mean, albeit it was still a green arrow, right? And I'll take it. It was still a green arrow to 387k in the world. I would have hoped to be slightly higher than that by now, but my goal is still before game week 19 or the midway point of the season to try and get close to the top 100k, because if I can get into the top 100k by game week 19, I think there's a decent chance that I can reach for those kind of ranks that I aim to finish the season with. So for game week 14, I have already made a transfer, one free transfer, and I have none left, right? So all I did was Ismail Sarr, who was obviously red flagged, right? Took him out for Minteh, as you guys can see in the title of today's stream. So I brought him out, brought Sarr out, and got Minteh. Minteh was pretty much someone that I wanted to bring in from Game Week 15 already. So I just brought forward the move because Ismail Sarr got injured. And yeah, pretty much the rest of the team is as is. Unfortunately, Pope is also going to be ruled out for quite a few game weeks already. He is definitely someone I have to address. And unfortunately, the move for Pope just didn't really work out overall. I had Sanchez previously, before I wildcarded, and then I brought Pope in on the wildcard. He just has not been someone that has worked out at all, right? Never really kept a lot of clean sheets, and it's unfortunate because before I brought him in on the wildcard in Game Week 8, he was keeping quite a few clean sheets. Newcastle was actually looking pretty good defensively as well. So it is what it is, right? Nick Pope is now going to be missing for a few games. I will be looking at some Nick Pope replacements soon. But yeah, around Game Week 15, which is next week, or Game Week 16, when we get the 5 free transfers, that's when I'll deal with him. But for now, I'm happy enough to play Dubravka in goal. I wasn't honestly expecting much from Nick Pope against Spurs as well, because Spurs can always score a goal, right? So Pope on the bench, Dubravka in the starting 11. In defense, I think it's great fixtures all around, right? Munoz, Van Dijk, Timber, and O'Reilly. I think with this back line, I mean, I have no qualms about Munoz and Van Dijk. I think they will both start. Timber, I did have a bit of doubts as to whether he would start this game because Ben White is obviously still available on the bench. But Ben White actually hasn't started a Premier League game at all this season, even though he has started a couple of Champions League games. But I think with looking at the way things are going for Arsenal, especially in the back line, Saliba is now injured and going to be missing for this game. Gabriel is still not back yet. So they're going to be playing with a back line of two centre backs that they're I guess not kind of first choice, but still very good of course, right? And in Hincapié and also Mosquera, right? So I do think that because that's the case, I think they will still try to keep Timber on the pitch, and possibly Miles Lewis Kelly in place of Calafiori, possibly. So that's my prediction that Timber would still start. So I'm happy enough with that pick. And then O'Reilly, he did. There is a bit of rotation risk with O'Reilly here, but he did get a bit of rest in the Champions League game before Game Week 13, which was the one against Bayern Leverkusen. He did come on at half-time for Ryan Aït-Nouri. I think there's a small chance that Aït-Nouri starts. But yeah, I mean, I'm in a position where I'll take the gamble. I hope that O'Reilly starts and potentially gets, a bit of an attacking return there. I also do think that not a lot of people do have O'Reilly here. So he is a bit of a differential because I didn't free hit last week. I brought O'Reilly in. So we'll see if O'Reilly is able to kind of keep up some consistent starts. But longer term, I just do like his minutes because Ryan Aït-Nouri will be going to the African Cup of Nations. So because of that, I'm pretty confident with O'Reilly's longer term minutes. Only now because it's a midweek deadline, so I'm just not 100% sure. But yeah, it is what it is. Back four. In midfield, it's Saka, Semenyo, Minteh, and Enzo. Very happy with all of these players. I'm pretty confident all will start as well. Enzo actually has quite a bit of minutes under his belt already. I do think he will still start, but maybe he won't finish the game. We'll see. I mean, that's my kind of prediction because he's played 90 minutes in pretty much the past 2 to 3 games already. All right, so even against Leeds here, if he gets about 75, 80 minutes, I'm happy with that. But obviously, someone like... Obviously, he's someone that is going to be playing in a slightly different role as they start to integrate Cole Palmer back into the team. All right, so that's Enzo. Up front, it's Haaland and Mateta, and Haaland is my captain. I think I'm in a position where I don't have someone like a Bruno Fernandes, which I'd be happy enough to captain as well this week. I don't have Bruno Fernandes. I also don't have someone like Mbumo, which I think a lot of people are tending to go with. For me, it's between Haaland and Saka, and I'm just choosing to back Haaland. Right, so that's my starting 11. On the bench is Thiago against Arsenal. I mean, obviously going to bench Thiago against Arsenal despite the 13-pointer last week. And yeah, pretty much bench is full of players that I need to start dealing with once I get the 5 free transfers in game week 15. Right, so sorry, game week 16. So there we go with the team. A bit of a ramble, but it's mainly because I haven't been able to put out videos. But yeah, that's a bit of a quick update of last week and also this week. Right, let me get down to the chat now. Thank you, by the way, all of you guys for coming down to today's stream. It's kind of at an odd timing as well because the deadline is in about 2.5 hours. But yeah, it is a bit of an odd timing, especially in the UK. It's like 3:30 in the afternoon for those in the UK. The rest of the world, it's probably nighttime or maybe even early morning for some of you guys. So thank you all of you for coming down. 53 of you guys watching already. Please do drop a like. Also, please do subscribe. It's been a while since I've said these lines, but yeah, let's get on with all your questions. Let me start with Muhammad's question. So he said, did I enjoy my break/holiday? I had a really, really good time. I mean, it was one of those, one of the few trips I think in the past few years that I've kind of just completely not brought any gear whatsoever. I didn't stream, obviously, as you guys would know. I didn't make any videos. Content was pretty much zero. It allowed me to just be present on the holiday, take a good break, and yeah, enjoy the views, the scenery, food, company, etc. So it's been a really, really good holiday. Kind of needed it as well. But yeah, I'm back now. Thank you all for bearing with the lack of content, I have to say. But from Game Week 15, I do promise that content will be back and ready to go. I received a couple of DMs as well, a couple of you guys in the Telegram chat, which is right below me as well if you guys want to join. But yeah, a couple of you guys asking when is my next video, when is the next stream, etc. But yeah, content will be back. But yeah, thanks for asking, Muhammad. Nicholas, currently around 80k. Awesome. John Doe says, rank Haaland, Bruno Fernandes, and Saka for captaincy. I say Bruno, then Haaland, then Saka. I actually put Bruno ahead of Haaland this week. Let's do a bit of a captaincy poll as well. Could you guys do me a favor and spam in the chat who you guys want to see in the captaincy poll? I'm probably going to have Haaland and Saka in there, potentially Bruno Fernandes, but who else would you guys be looking to captain? Marcus says Ryan Munoz, Van Dijk, Timber, Saka, Semenyo, Njai, Minteh, Enzo, Haaland, Mateta. Bench is Dubravka, Lacroix, Gay, Senesi. One free transfer. Thoughts on Njai to Anderson? I don't mind that move actually. Anderson is a great player to bring in this week. Done Sarr to Anderson from Nottingham Forest. Struggling who to start. Stack, Thiago or Anderson from Fulham. I'll probably go Thiago in that spot. Free hit team for this game week. Fortunately, I didn't make a free hit team though. But I imagine there'd be lots of Manchester United players against West Ham. Couple of Nottingham Forest players as well against Wolves. Maybe throw in a Haaland, of course, and then a couple of Crystal Palace players like Munoz and Mateta. You'd probably be set. Melvin, nice to see you. Evening. Should I start Thiago or Rodon or Xhaka? Out of those three, probably just prefer Thiago a little bit more because of pens. Start Mukiele or Gravenberg. Probably say Mukiele for the DEFCON. Nicholas says surely Timber starts. Yeah, I think Timber will start as well. Best free hit game weeks. I mean, honestly, at this point, after game week 13 has passed, it's hard to say exactly when is a good game week because pretty much every single week, the template team at least, or majority of the players that you guys have or are highly owned, have a decent enough run. Right? So I think the next time you'll be looking at is either now when there's lots of flex for game week 14. If not, I think maybe 16 or 17. I don't think it delayed to 18 or 19 anymore, to be honest. Those don't actually look like good game weeks to free hit. So it's probably 16 or 17 if you don't do it this week in 14. Thinking of bringing Bruno for Sarr and captain him. I don't mind the move at all if you can reach Bruno. Looks great. Should I bring Cunha in on a wild card? I think he's a bit of a risk, right? If you are on a wild card, I don't think I would take that risk, to be honest. Bruno Fernandes should be fine as Manchester United coverage. Bench has Caicedo, Senesi, Gabriel. What should I do a -4 for Minteh or Timber? Depends who's your starting 11. If those players are on your bench, who's in your 11 and is it necessary for a -4? I'd probably say that because Caicedo is going to miss out quite a few games, and I don't think he's a good enough option to keep, you probably could do a -4 for Minteh and just about justify that. Don't personally think Palmer will play much this week. Yeah, I mean, I agree as well. Palmer's probably not going to play much. They need to ease him back. But I just do think it's possible that Palmer gets about 10-15 minutes at the end. Mikel Merino playing in the 11. Playing in the playing 11. Basically starting. There is news that Gyökeres and Havertz could be available for this game. So, I mean, Arteta would never give anything fully. Like, never give anything up. But if I were to predict, I think either one of them starts. Who should I buy? Enzo, Semenyo, Bruno Guimaraes, or do you have any 7.2 million or below midfield suggestions? I don't think Enzo is a buy. I think after Leeds, you could actually look to ship him out, to be honest. Shouldn't buy Semenyo as well, or even Bruno Guimaraes. The ones I really buy, Minteh. I still think Szoboszlai is a decent option, right? Because he is playing in the 10. Jones is the one playing on right back, and also Connor Bradley will be coming back soon. So the only issue with Szoboszlai is that he is on 4 yellows. That's the only issue. But if not, I don't mind Szoboszlai as well. Then if you go really low, then you probably can look at Anderson from Nottingham Forest. Shane says Bruno. Salah, if anybody has him. I don't even think anyone wants to go Salah at this point after the benching. GV, and I see in the chat, member as well. Save captaincy as Haaland. Bruno is next. Any Newcastle attacker? Probably not. I mean, I don't think you would captain him, right? Captain Newcastle players, let alone, Voltemata, for example. Let's put a Game Week 14 captaincy poll out. Let's go with Haaland, Saka. Let's put a Bruno in there. And let's see. Last one, maybe Mateta / Voltemata. Let's give it a go. Sorry, let's put Bruno / Mbumo. Let's put Bruno / Mbumo. Basically, whichever Manchester United attacker you have. Let's have a look and see the captaincy poll. Munoz, Virgil, Richards, O'Reilly, bench 1. Ooh. Your team has to be really strong if you have to bench one of those. I don't really want to bench any of them, to be honest. Who else is in the 11? I have Bruno Fernandes, Haaland. I'm thinking about captaining Munoz. That's an outside shot, I have to say. It's an outside shot. do your own research for free hit on your own teams. Think that's the best way, since you need to take your own team into account and all that stuff. I think more so this season because they're giving us a free hit chip that needs to be used in the first 19 game weeks. And pretty much there's no blanks, there's no doubles, there's no real reason for you to use it. So it's going to pretty much be a case where, as it has been all season, for the first 14 game weeks at least, using it in a game week where you think you have a less than ideal team. Like game week 13 was one of those weeks, right, where Arsenal was playing Chelsea. Lots of people had Chelsea assets or even Arsenal assets. They're playing each other in good form. Why not go without any of those players on your free hit and load up on Liverpool? I mean, basically you get the point, right? However well it worked out in game week 13 is the same reason why free hit in every other game week now, whether it's 14, 15, 16, 17, whenever, it's just going to be a case where, can you get to a better team than your starting 11, and how big is the disparity? If it's great, then just use it. For Senesi, who do I bring in? O'Reilly or Virgil van Dijk? I prefer O'Reilly over Virgil van Dijk. Brian, I see you in the chat. It says between Eze, and by the way, Brian I know is really active in the Telegram group chat as well. So awesome stuff. I do reply to majority of the comments that I see in the Telegram chat whenever I have time as well. So I do kind of recognize some of the names in the chat as well. So Brian says between Eze, Mbumo, Semenyo, Minteh, Anderson, whom should I bench? I'm playing a 3-4-3 with João Pedro, Mateta, and Haaland as forwards. Defense is Timber, Van Dijk, and Munoz with Senesi on the bench. Eze, Mbumo, Semenyo, Minteh, Anderson. It is tricky. I definitely have Mbumo in for sure. Semenyo as well. Minteh, I think you have to start as well. I probably a case where Anderson is someone you could bench. I mean, I don't think the ceiling is that high for Anderson. Anderson is that kind of player where the floor is high. The floor is high, but the ceiling is maybe not as high as some of the other players that you have, like Eze, Mbumo, Semenyo, Minteh, for example. So yeah, I think the only player out of your midfield that I'd be comfortable kind of benching is Anderson. Ian says, free hit active. Lord have mercy on my free hit team. I hope it works out for you. I hope it works out for you as well as it did for those of you guys who used it in the Game Week 13 week. Scott O'Brien says, great stream. Thank you very much. Would you have Calafiori and Anderson or Theo and Minteh on a wildcard? I have KDH in midfield and Virgil van Dijk in defense already. Probably Theo and Minteh then. Yeah, probably Theo and Minteh. .fpl 3474 says, on a wildcard, Verbruggen, Dubravka, Timber, Theo, Anderson, O'Reilly, Mukiele, Saka, Bruno Fernandes, Dewsbury Hall, Foden, Minteh, Thiago, Bolton, Marahal, and 0.1 million. Any suggestions? I honestly like the front three that you've gone for. I probably would go with that front three as well. Midfield, Dewsbury Hall obviously is an enabler. Bruno Fernandes I like as a long-term pick. Minteh as well. Foden is probably your differential. I mean, obviously after last week's performance, everyone wants Foden as well. I can understand that. Saka, always a good pick. I think though, I probably wouldn't have Saka in the draft for the wildcard. I think I'd free up some cash there because I don't actually think that. I mean, Saka is just someone I know is on pens for Arsenal. I mean, I have him already. But if I could kind of pick again for an Arsenal attacker, I might choose either one of Eze or Rice. I mean, it is a bit of a hot take, but I just don't think, if you look at points per million, Saka is someone that hasn't lived up to his price tag. He is rather expensive. He's like 10.5. If I bought him at 10.5, I mean, he's at 10.1. Yeah, I mean, pretty much Saka is just someone that I don't think is justifying the price tag right now. The only thing that you get with him is comfort, right? That you know he's going to start every single week. But yeah, if not, I think you could save the money and go elsewhere, right? I think it allow you to probably go for a more expensive keeper. Maybe you could go for Raya. You could maybe even have a more expensive backline there. All right, so maybe something to think about. But yeah, if not, I think the rest of your team looks good. GV says, yes, Soboslai is a good pick. Bench Richards or O'Reilly. Probably O'Reilly. Part of me wants to play aggressive, climb the ranks, captain Bruno. The other part of me wants to go Haaland and play it safe. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, for those of you guys who have Bruno Fernandes, let me just have a look at the poll. It's 32% of people who are going to be captaining Manchester United assets. Haaland is at 57, so still the standout captaincy option. Yeah, I can see why people would want to go for Bruno or Mbumo. And I would be tempted as well, I'll be honest. I would be tempted. How realistic is it to make money from creating FPL content on Instagram, TikTok, or X? I mean, honestly, you just have to be really, really huge. Like the bigger creators, I guess they're able to do it full time. But I think smaller creators like myself, definitely not able to kind of do it full time, right? Especially juggling other things in personal life. For sure, it just has to be a bit of a side hustle for now. But yeah, I mean, I'll never rule it out. I mean, if the channel is able to grow, and yeah, we'll see what happens. But for now, it's just playing FPL as a passion, and to me, it's never about it's never about how much I can make from content. It's more about, do I enjoy the process of making content, interacting with you guys, and yeah, just being creative basically. And I just do like that. Right, so for now, that still drives me. That's the passion, and yeah, which is funny. I say that because I just came back from a long break, but yeah, that still stands. Basco says, "Yo, it's been a long time, bro. Hope you and your team are doing well." Yes, I'm doing well. The FPL team isn't doing as well. If only I had free hit last week, but I don't have the free hit. I've used it in game week 2, but yeah, could be better. But yeah, I'm great. Thanks for asking. I hope you've been good as well, Bosco. -4 Enzo to Fernandes. I don't think I'd sell Enzo this week. Take a -4, bring O'Reilly or Timber, or just play Anderson against City. Depends. If it's taking -4 to replace someone like a Senesi, I don't mind it. Okay, I think I have to speed to the questions. I'm a bit far back. I do apologize. I may have to skip a couple. If I do miss your question, please just help me out and put it in again. So Pool Fan says, decided to reverse, activated my free hit, sold Haaland to bring in Saka. Salah well rested in the second game before African Cup of Nations. I would actually think twice about whether I want to bring Salah in against Sunderland. I think Sunderland defensively are pretty good, and I would be wary of going without Haaland. So I think that would still be my thought process. What's your current rank? My current rank is right below me here, 387k. Yeah, 387k. I'm hoping to kind of hit in and around 100k before game week 19. That is the aim. I don't have to be top 100k by then, but I'm kind of hoping at least maybe top 150k by game week 19. That is the aim. So we're still on track. It's just that last week, I mean, a lot of people made up points with the free hit, so probably have to kind of try to claw back some points next for the coming weeks. Thinking of doing Sarr out for Anderson and Senesi out for Timber for a -4. I think that -4 is just about okay. Pedro questionable now that Delap is back. Yes, I'd say so. But Pedro could always play in the same team that Delap is in. Joao Pedro could play in the 10. Even though now Palmer is back, of course. Why do we get 5 free transfers in the incoming next game week 15? Okay, I'm probably going to rephrase your question. I get your point. Why do we get 5 free transfers after game week 15? It's mainly because FPL is going to help us deal with African Cup of Nations by giving us 5 free transfers. But they're not giving us 5, they're just topping us up to the maximum, which is 5. So if you have 3 free transfers, then they only top you up an extra 2. That's why it always makes sense to just max out all your transfers, use it up, and then top up to 5. Josh, nice to see you in the chat. Member on Telegram as well. Sorry if I missed this earlier. Thiago or Keane? Great question. So Keane this week has Bournemouth. I don't think Keane keeps a clean sheet, but he's been pretty good for DEFCON. Thiago is playing a really strong Arsenal defense, of course. I think you could just about go for Michael Keane and hope that he gets, another one of those attacking returns. Because I honestly think that Arsenal is just going to shut Brentford out again, especially at the Emirates. So it's close. I think I lean just about Michael Keane, which is not an answer I've given the rest of the, questions before in terms of Thiago or whichever player. But it's only because Michael Keane, defensive contributions wise, I think looks pretty good. And the goal threat, of course. Free hitting this week. Any specific players I should get? Already got the popular choices: Haaland, Bruno, Rice, Van Dijk. I think Rice is an interesting pick. Couple of key players that I still want on the free hit is Munoz. Probably Enzo as well. I mean, playing Leeds, you have to have a couple of Chelsea players as well. Minteh is an assist monster. I do hope, yes, I look at the way that he plays, he definitely looks more like an assister than he is a goal scorer. But let's hope. So Yaki says, playing to sell Senesi for Lacroix, take a pound and delete. What do you suggest? I wouldn't go for Manchester United defenders. Timber, Chalobah, Van Dijk, Roden as a bench for that. Yeah, I just wouldn't go for Manchester United defenders, basically. Henry, nice to see you in the chat. Also, another one that's really active on the Telegram community. So thank you for helping to moderate as well. Henry's a moderator on there. Says, how are you? I'm great. I hope you're good as well. Soboslai or Anderson? If you can reach Soboslai, I probably prefer him a little bit more. Only because now he's playing in the 10. If he was playing in the right back position, I think I like him a lot less. And then I probably would say I prefer Anderson from Nottingham Forest. But yeah, because he's playing in the 10 now, I do like that. Keep a transfer, Pope to Sanchez. I won't rule it out, but the issue is that after Leeds, the Chelsea fixtures aren't actually very good. Chelsea fixtures are actually pretty tough. I mean, if I can bring it up here. Yeah, so it's Leeds, Bournemouth, Everton, then it's Newcastle, Aston Villa, Bournemouth, City, Fulham, Brentford. I mean, it's just not fixtures that, really scream a lot of clean sheets to me. So I don't think Sanchez is the one I'd go for. He is in one of the considerations, but yeah, I probably wouldn't. Enzo, Anderson, and Jai, bench 1. Have to start Enzo. Jai or Anderson. Anderson has Wolves. Maybe I bench Jai this week, to be honest. Start Anderson against Wolves, just about. Anderson or Mukiele. I go Joachim Anderson. Vincent says, by the way, Leon, have you finished your Italy trip? Yes, I have. Thank you for asking as well. I have. I came back to Singapore on Sunday. And since then, I've just been having to catch up on a couple of things in my personal life and work, of course. But yeah, managed to stream for Game Week 14 right now, so it's great. I'm here. And then from Game Week 15 on, I'm hoping that the content goes back to normal. So I have plans to already record for Game Week 15, the transfer plans and also team selection, etc. And I'll also be streaming from Game Week as per normal, right, from Game Week 15 onwards as well. So yeah, thank you for those of you who just joined and have been bearing with the lack of content on the channel. I appreciate all of you bearing with me. But I'm back in Singapore and we're gonna resume normal content. Normal business resumes. Is the site not working? It's not loading for me. Let me just have a look. It looks fine to me. Just reload it. Best replacement for Sarr, Minteh, Bruno Guimaraes, or Anderson. I would say Minteh. Who's a good option to change for I'd say Minteh. If it's like for like, right? If you can go more expensive, then Bruno Fernandes is great. I'm just trying to think if there's an outside chance for someone to go. I mean, you could go Foden as well. If you already have Bruno Fernandes and you have Ismail Assani looking for a replacement, would you go Mbeumo? I mean, the timeline is tight for him because he has to go to the African Cup of Nations, but we have 5 free transfers. I guess it's a worthy kind of a gamble for those of you who want to look there. If not, yeah, obviously if you want to play safe, Minteh, you want to go cheaper, Anderson from Nottingham Forest, Keenan Dewsbury Hall, all decent. Yeah, I mean, Nicholas, you got it spot on as well, right? Andy's been doing it for so long. Vincent says you're an FPL legend already, regardless of full-time or not. Thank you so much for the support. Bruno or Mbeumo captaincy, which one do you prefer? I prefer Mbeumo, if it's between the two. Jestermeister 90 says, hey Consult, I've got 2 free transfers and 3 same injured players. Who else do you think I should replace and to who? If you get 2 free transfers, so I mean it works, right? You can obviously use up your 2 transfers this week to deal with them, but I'd say that it's not a rush. If you're able to get out, 11 good enough players in your starting 11, then even if you have 2 of those kind of flagged players on your bench, but your starting 11 is fine, I don't think it's a rush to kind of use up all of them. So it's really what's your starting 11, right? And are you able to field a good enough 11? Probably someone like Ismail Sarr could be replaced, right? Because he's going to be out for all the way until he comes back from the African Cup of Nations, likely. So yeah, he's someone that you can transfer out, deal with that immediately, bring in someone who has good potential, right? If you have more transfers, like you said, 2 free transfers, you could do a combination move, free up funds elsewhere, go to a Foden, slightly more exciting pick, or like Bruno Fernandes, Mbeumo, etc. Mbeumo, though, obviously is going to AFCON as well. Saka and Cash or Eze and Timber? I mean, it is a hot take. I mean, for sure, right? But I really would think, I mean, if I am wild carding this week, it is a hot take, but I probably wouldn't have Saka, to be honest. So yeah, Eze and Timber is what I'd say. But if I was wild carding though, I kind of factor in a way to get Gabriel back as well, because Gabriel will be back soon. So maybe Timber to Gabriel is a bit of a sideways move, but Gabriel just has so much greater attacking threat that when he comes back, I know I definitely want him. So you could go Raya, Timber, Eze, and then Timber to Gabriel when Gabriel comes back. Just future planning. Okay, I have to speed through the chat. If I miss your questions, I apologize. Just type it in again. Too many chips in the first half is making FPL a little less interesting. Fair enough. Nicola says start 2, Cash, Theo, Richards. I go Richards and Cash. Richards and Cash. Sarr for Anderson or Minteh? It depends if you need the funds later on. Depends if you need the funds. Eze seems to be a risky pick. Missed the boat long time ago. Surprised people mass buying him. The thing with Eze, I feel, is that even though Odegaard is back, yes, minutes are a risk, but I think because of his form right now, he will continue to get decent enough minutes. And it's not as if Odegaard and Eze can't play in the same 11. Like we saw already in the earlier parts of the season that for scenarios where Eze and Odegaard are both playing, Eze shifted to the left. Like obviously there's Trossard, obviously there's Martinelli. Like there are good enough left wingers, but it's not impossible, right? It's one of those variations. Eze is a versatile player. So yeah, I'd say there is definitely risk, but again, we have transfers to deal with that. So hot take, but I'd say on a wild card, I wouldn't mind going for Eze. Start Fulham, Anderson, or Thiago. So it's Joachim Anderson or Thiago. Probably Thiago. But then again, if you go Anderson, you could go Defcon. But I expect Fulham to be conceding a couple goals as well. So probably Thiago. Currently having 2 Arsenal defenders. Should I bench one? I don't think that's necessary. 2 Arsenal defenders are great. Let me just have a look at the captaincy poll. 54% on Haaland still. But yeah, 33% for the Manchester United guys. Goalkeeper replacement. Are you not replacing Pope? Yeah, I'm not. It's basically because I've already used my 1 free transfer this week. I don't want to spend a key for transfer, taking -4 to just do like Pope to Verbruggen, for example. Like not a fixture that I think I need. It's Aston Villa at home. And then, other replacements. It's really actually Raya that I'm looking at, to be honest. Like, I want to bring Raya in, and I don't have enough money for it. So I have to wait until I have 2 free transfers at least to make combination moves, which then obviously means that because in Game Week 15 I only have 1, I'll probably wait until I get the 5 free transfers in 16 to do it. After my triple captain fail on Haaland, I'm never captaining him. Never ever captaining him. I'm going for Mbeumo. Alright, I hope it works out. Start Richards or Thiago? Richards. Ian says, Consult, what's your take? Gakpo or Voltemade on the free hit? That's an interesting question. I would say Voltemade, Pens. Yeah, I'd say Voltemade. Elwin says, start Reinders or Thiago. I have 2 Arsenal defenders. Probably go Reinders. There is risk there, but I don't think it'd be too different, right? I don't think Thiago scores that high as well. Satyaki says, selling Sarr and Senesi for Munoz and Minteh or Lacroix and Gakpo. Sarr and Senesi for Munoz and Minteh or Lacroix and Gakpo. I think I go Lacroix and Gakpo. It's this for this one because I think Lacroix is pretty good for Defcon as well. And it saves you quite a bit because Munoz is rather expensive. Gakpo is just simply because I really like the Liverpool fixtures, but it's whether you can kind of nail down who you want to go for. If you think Gakpo starts majority of the next few games, then sure. I mean, that could work. But I also say to bear in mind that Salah's not going to be benched every single game. I mean, he's just too good to be benched every single game. Granted, he hasn't been playing well this season, but he's just not someone that Slot can bench every single game week. So my guess is that eventually Gakpo will still share a bit of minutes with someone like Wirtz, when Isak comes back, etc. I think longer term, Gakpo's minutes cannot be assured. So maybe even Lacroix plus Szoboszlai is something you could look at. Yeah, what's your opinion on Rice as a pick for Sarr? The only reason why I didn't go for Rice is because I already have Saka, and I always prefer double Arsenal defense over double Arsenal attack. So because of that reason, I've gone for Minteh with plans to again go for Raya as my defensive asset or my keeper eventually when I have the free transfers to do it. Do you think a differential captaincy of Anderson could work because he's guaranteed DEFCON and a goal threat? I mean, he is on pens as long as Morgan, Gibbs White, and Chris Wood are out. What I say is worth captaining him over someone like Haaland, Bruno, Saka? Probably not. Probably not. John says, how do you see the Forest defense? It's getting better for sure under Sean Dyche. I think it's getting slightly better, but not kind of to the point where I need to desperately go out and buy them, is what I'd say. Nicholas says that Eze take is what I'm here for. Ian says, I feel Bruno is owed a penalty this week. He hasn't taken one in a while, to be fair, right? He hasn't taken one for a while. Bruno captain, if you feel like that is the way you want to go, I wouldn't convince you to do otherwise. Play Voltamada or Minteh. You have to play both. How is Mrs. FPL Consult doing? She's doing great. I mean, we went on a holiday together, of course, with a couple of friends as well. Yeah, she is doing great. Well rested. As am I, of course. Van Dijk or O'Reilly? Probably Van Dijk, just because he's slightly. I mean, honestly, I try to play both. But if you make me choose, firstly, Van Dijk is guaranteed to play 90. DEFCON is pretty good, and he's playing at home. Not that it makes too much of a difference now for Liverpool, but yeah, maybe they go on some form of a run. How do you feel about Foden? Do you think he'll get enough minutes? The thing with Foden is that he's just that kind of player that you can never truly predict the minutes, right? But the good thing that is going for him right now is that I think he's playing so much more of an integral role to the Man City team, especially you saw how he played against Leeds. I think he's really coming back into the player that we know he can be. So with that as well, Pep always talks about rhythm and how he likes to play players who are, in a spell where they're kind of, technically keeping up their performances, right? So I do think that with that in mind, his minutes will be slightly better. But then again, Pep is not shy of rotating, right? So I will not be surprised if you tell me that Foden, starts maybe 3 out of 4 games. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Martin says, hi Consult, I have 1 free transfer. I want to sell Sarr. Who should I bring in? Ahmad, Barnes, Anderson, Soboslai, Martinelli, Madueke, Mourinho. Or should I take a -4, sell Pedro as well to bring in Bruno Fernandes? I think out of all these players, I would still go for someone like Minteh and then probably Soboslai and Anderson in that order. Depending on which one you already have, then you can go for the other one. Because it seems like maybe you have Minteh already. Same 13, mine are Gakpo and Foden. Hopefully it works out for you. Henry says, start Soboslai or Anderson or Welbeck. Welbeck, you probably have to start Welbeck, I think. Soboslai, Anderson also have great fixtures though. I wouldn't be super comfortable benching Welbeck, to be honest. Is there anyone else you can bench, Henry? Bench 1, Vardiol, James, Timber, and Burn. Probably Dan Burn. 1 transfer for selling Senesi or selling Grealish. Probably sell Senesi. Who to replace Senesi with? Munoz or Timber? I prefer Timber. 2 free transfers, 0.6 in the bank, Pope to Raya and Sarr to Anderson, or just do Sarr to Rice. I had Timber and Saka. I like the Pope to Raya move a little bit better. Yeah, Pope to Raya and Sarr to Anderson. I like that one. Is Sanchez a good choice? Goalkeeper for Pope for free, assuming the rest of my squad is okay. I don't really like the Chelsea fixtures longer term. Right, as after Leeds, it starts to get quite tricky. 70 watching and 21 likes. Is that so? If you guys are watching, I mean, we're ending the stream soon, so it's fine. But if you guys are watching and you don't mind helping out, please do drop a like on the stream. I'm going to just do a couple last questions and then we'll call it a day. Anderson or Mukiele? I would prefer Mukiele. Yes, I do Minteh. I can also roll and play Thiago off the bench. If playing Thiago off the bench, I mean having him in your 11 then allows you to roll, I'd maybe try and make an extra transfer, because I don't think Thiago in the 11 is a strong pick this week. I try to have him like as a bench option. Have Minteh. Should I get Gakpo and Bumo for another one for Sarr? Bruno, only with -4. I think Sarr to Foden or Sarr to Mbumo is where I'd look, to be honest, if you want to go slightly different. Gakpo, Enzo, Rice, bench 1. Seems obvious to bench Rice, right? But he's been pretty consistent. Enzo, you have to start. Gakpo just did really well. You probably can bench Rice, but he's just one of those players that will just always take along, right? So you never be fully confident, but can you really bench Gakpo after that performance? And can you bench Enzo against Leeds? I don't think so. Yeah, I have to agree as well. Defcon is playing such a huge role, right? Such a huge role. Minteh for Sarr, worth the hit. The bench Enzo, the bench is Semenyo, Eze, Minteh, Enzo, and Bumo. Choose one. You probably interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nah, I wouldn't make the transfer then. I mean, I wouldn't take the hit, because then you can just start your other four midfielders, right? Semenyo, Eze, Enzo, and Bumo. Assuming you have a good enough third forward. Assuming it's not a dead spot. Nicholas says, been a chill stream. Hope I can be a consistent viewer like I was last season. I appreciate all of you guys coming down as always, right? So thank you all for tuning in. It is kind of time to call it a day for the stream, but thank you all for, again, I have to reiterate again, bearing with the lack of content on the channel, but we are back. FPL is back. It's a midweek deadline, so it's great that because triple captain didn't work out last week, let's see if we can bounce back this week. But yeah, if not, I thank you guys for tuning in. If you enjoyed the stream, please do drop a like. Please do subscribe as well. And regular content will be back from GW14. I will be recording the transfer plans. I'll be recording team selection, etc. A couple of shorts as well. All the content will be back. I'll catch you guys very soon. All the best for Game Week 14. And yeah, peace out. I'll catch you guys very, very soon. Bye-bye.